Happy Thursday, game makers. You know what that means. It's the last video before we take our Friday quiz. So just a quick review. If you remember where we left off, we had created a script that checks to see the status of the global variable lives. And if lives is greater than 0, then we respawn in the room. Now notice I didn't have to say object player dot lives here, because lives is a global variable. All objects and all programming can access it. That's the power of global variables, that they are readily available to all objects in our game. Now, they do take up more memory and processing power, so we should definitely try to limit them. But one thing I don't have in my game is I don't have anything on my GUI that, or graphical user interface, that says how many lives do we have left. So I want to go ahead and I'm checking my notes here. So I'm going to go into my object control, into my draw GUI event. Remember, draw GUI, this will be on the quiz, draws it on the very top layer so that nothing can overlap it or interfere with your ability to see it. You can see that we've drawn the GUI, or the sprite associated with it. We've also drawn a health bar. And now the next thing I want to do is I want to be able to draw lives. And so I'm going to, if I remember correctly, because I have practiced all this stuff, we want to use the draw stacked sprites. We are going to have them be horizontal, and then the number of, this is where the number of lives is going to go, and then we're going to put them at 48 on the X, so 48 pixels from the left. Oh, my numpad wasn't working. 48, and then we want to have the location to be room height minus 55. So 55 pixels up the screen. Now, one thing I do need to do is make sure that I have the SPR lives in my game, and it doesn't look like I do. So I'm going to go ahead and create a sprite and go ahead and import that. So that's in my scrolling shooter assets. This little guy here is the one I want, and we'll call it SPR lives. And I don't think it's super important that it's centered here. I guess we'll find out when we run the game. So I'm going to leave it just like that because I can't remember in my practice if I did it that way. So back to object control, back to draw GUI, and then the sprite is going to be the SBR lives. So that should update every time I die. So let's take a look here. So I'm going to go ahead and play my game. And then you can see I get 2 lives down here. I guess I did center it, so I'll go back and fix that. So when I die, one of those should go away, and it does. Perfect, awesome. And so that's my last respawn. So now I have no more respawns left, and everything's working except for I just need to make a small move on this, and that should make that look better. The last global variable that I am going to deal with for this week is score. So score is a global variable, and I'm going to go ahead and set that in object control, because again, I need to control this, or do this in a way that if an object is removed from the game, I don't lose my score. So you can see score is a built-in variable. It is a built-in global. And so anytime I reference score, I don't have to say object control dot score or anything like that, because it's a global. So score is going to equal 0. Remember the reason that lives is in control. If I put lives in object player, every time object player was created, it would reset the lives. So the controller in this game is even more important than ever. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go into my object basic enemy, and I'm going to add the score there. So right now, I need to set that variable. So I'm going to, every time we destroy this, um, now there's going to be some issues later on with scoring if I want my different enemies to give different points. But for now, just to show you that it works, Score, again, I'm going to select the built-in variable, and we're going to go ahead with 10 relative. And then I've got to have on my GUI my score show up. So that's the last thing I'm going to do is draw the value of score. And trying to remember where I've seen that. Draw, which one is the best choice? So because I don't know, I'm going to go ahead and select this. And the caption, I'm going to go with a caption of score. No, I'm not. You know what? No caption. I just want it to draw the value. And the value, of course, is going to be score, my built-in global. And after much to do, I realized that room width divided by 2 minus 15 was a good place for that. And room height minus 40. So now I'll get 10 points. I think that's what I set it for. Every time I destroy an enemy. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. So boom, and my score goes up. My lives or my respawns look really good where they are. And so things are really happening. Now, the last thing I want to do is I was really pleased with the way I've set up my collisions here. And one of the great things about this is now that because of the way I've set it up, I can just duplicate this event and just say, okay, what do I want the collision to be with now? So now I want my collision to be with object enemy 4. And in fact, I don't want anything to change about this. I want it to take away the same amount of health. I want it to destroy all of those instances. So I don't really need to do any additional work there. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this again. And now I want it to be a collision with the basic bullet. And I do want something to be changed. I want it to take away less health. So the basic or the simple enemy bullet, I would like to remove 10. So other than that, there's no change. And then I'm going to go ahead and duplicate. I could duplicate any of these. And I want the collision with the homing bullet to be a little more severe. So in that case, I might want it to be minus 20 because it's a larger bullet and I want it to be a little more powerful. So as I play, I should be able to as far as I can think of, collide with everything and have it cause damage. Okay, you can see that that homing bullet did cause me to be injured or lose health. There it goes again. And because of the way I set this up, I was able to duplicate and get a lot of work done very quickly. Um, and then, of course, I have my invulnerability that will all work out perfectly because that's programmed in. If you don't remember, let me see if I can enlarge this for you. If you don't remember, um, I can only take damage if my invulnerability is false. So none of these things can damage me. Um, sometimes you just knock it out of the park, and guys, I think I've done so with the way I've set up the collisions. So that's it. That's all. I mean, there's a lot of information here. Um, if you watch the videos, though, remember you can watch the videos as you're taking the quiz. It should be a piece of cake. Nobody should be getting failing grades on these quizzes because it's all right here. Um, and if you have questions, ask me today because I can't really answer your questions as you're taking the quiz. So that's the last video of the week. We did amazing things, and I look forward to seeing how you do on your quiz tomorrow. Thanks for watching.